Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the SOULKATION podcast. I am your host, Logan Renee. I'm going to do part 2 of why women can't get along. So make sure you go back and listen to part 1 because I'll talk about what happens when we make a group issue a bigger issue than it had to be if that conversation wasn't one-on-one. Sometimes we make things a little bit bigger when other people get involved. Here's what I've learned from coaching as well as being in a sorority, being president of different organizations, being the CEO of my own company. When you don't have tough conversations or conversations in general, stuff builds up, stuff festers. And a lot of times how we really feel, sometimes the conversation, it doesn't come out at first. You know, and I feel like there's ways of handling that when you're not able to express exactly how you feel in the first conversation. So we're gonna go into that a little bit. But you have to eventually tell somebody how you really feel, especially if that person's gonna be in your life. You know, and women, we can harbor some stuff, you know, but let's talk about it. So number one, if you want to get along with women, something to be very conscious of is when hidden hate is masked as playful shade or a joke. When hidden hate is masked as a playful joke or shade, something in the water is not clear. Okay, it's not all the time, but some of the time, like how someone really feels about you shows up in a joke, and then it turns from that person consistently taking shots at you every time y'all get together, and it's no longer funny. Is really, really hurtful. So in these cases, the cure is revisiting conversations. Sometimes when you thought you crushed the issue or, you know, y'all talked about it, you thought it was done in that conversation, sometimes stuff lingers. And I think as friends or as women, we can come together and say, hey, I didn't get it out the first time. Can we revisit, you know, this conversation? Because this is what's happening in all conversations. And I got this from the book, Crucial Conversations, which I highly recommend everybody getting. That's actually the resource for this week. Crucial Conversation. It's a red and white book. But 3 things are always going on in a conversation. High stakes, strong emotions, opposing opinions. High stakes, strong emotions, opposing opinions. Anytime we're in a crucial conversation, a tough conversation with a friend, especially with another woman who is just as strong-minded, just as a leader, just as amazing, just as funny, we immediately want to protect ourselves. Of course, who does not? Immediately you want to protect yourself. And to get in a place of comfort as quick as possible, we'll say we good. Like, okay, I'm good. But you get off the conversation, you get off the phone, you having a whole conversation in the mirror, like, I know she ain't said this to me. Oh, I know she wasn't trying to get loud with me. You know, we'll pop off real quick. Or on the way home, we just upset. You know, when it's that type of intensity and respect and love for that other person, 9 times out of 10, you're going to have another conversation with that person and just lay it all out. I've had conversations with my friends when we had notes. We like, okay, so when you said this, and you got to use specific examples, child, you know, just to break it down and to clear the air. Especially if you want to keep that relationship, sometimes you're going to have to revisit it. So instead of saying, you know, I'm good, say, I need some time to process this conversation. So if you don't mind, maybe in a week or so, let's talk about it. Or tomorrow, let's talk about it because I really need some time to think about what just happened. You know, like sometimes people come to you and they got evidence, pictures, catalogs, and you just feel blindsided because you're like, where did this come from? We just went to lunch, you know. And it's funny because the thing that we hate being done to us, we do to other people, which of course, when it happens to you is shocking, but there's nothing wrong with saying, hey, we might need to revisit this conversation. I feel slighted a little bit. I haven't been able to get evidence together like you got. We're going to have to talk about this again. So if you want to get along with your friends or other women, sometimes you're going to have to revisit certain conversations, even if they're tough. That's number 1. Number 2, seasonal separations will happen. Seasonal separations will happen. We have a hard time accepting that every childhood friend, every college friend, every elementary friend, that's the same as childhood, every sorority sister will not flow into every season of your life. They won't. And that's okay. I really want you to know that that's okay. Some relationships were for that season and they may not fit into other seasons. I think a lot of times we have a problem with trying to take stuff into multiple seasons, stuff just falling out the bag. It's because they're not supposed to go into their other season with us, but we have a very hard time of letting stuff go. I mean, women have some of the, most caring hearts, and a lot of times that doesn't serve us well because it's some stuff that's not supposed to be carried into their next season. Mandy Hill said something that was really good. You will evolve past certain people. Let yourself. You will evolve past certain people. Let yourself. Last reason why we might not be able to get along with women is, and of course, this is something that everybody should consider doing or practicing before speaking. Ask this question. Is it worth giving my opinion? Before speaking to your friends next time about something they share with you or something they talk about at dinner, is it worth me giving my opinion? Is it worth me giving my opinion? Because there's a very thin line between accountability, because your friend should be, somebody that you trust and they hold you accountable, you hold them accountable, and being supportive. There's a very, 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 very thin line between telling the whole truth, being supportive, being accountable is very, very thin. And I'm working on this. It's super hard because a lot of times you're like, girl, I got some real good advice. But a lot of times it's not warranted. So my question in my head always is it worth me giving my opinion? Should I just listen right now and shake my head? Consider is it truly worth having an argument over, having that person not be open and sharing stuff with you or not opening up to you anymore? Ask yourself, is it really worth it? Here's a quick recap. When someone in your life harbors hate for you, especially another woman, that friendship is going to have to be healed if you want to keep that relationship. And if there is underlying shade, every time y'all get together, she making jokes or taking jabs, and you what is wrong? What? You're just confused. Every time you get with it, you just waiting on the digs. You just waiting on the shade to pop off, and you really don't understand why. If you care about that relationship, have the conversation. If you want to shut it down, go ahead and shut it down and move on from that relationship. But if you're really close to that person, it's a conversation that needs to be had. There's something that y'all haven't talked about or something y'all already talked about that needs to be discussed so the foolishness can stop, okay? Again, Mandy Hill said something that is golden. You will evolve past certain people. Let yourself. Some friendships will remain for a lifetime, and some have a divine cutoff. Some friendships have a divine cutoff. To keep women in your life from saying you always got something to say, you always got an opinion. Every time I come to you, you popping off about something I need to do with my life. To keep them from saying that, this is golden. Say, okay. When they come tell you something, be like, wow. But girl, I did this. Dang, that's crazy. If you hit them with the dang, that's crazy, and that's it, they're going to be shocked. They'll be like, oh, you don't got nothing else to say? Be like, no. Be like, congratulations. I'm happy for you. Oh, really? Okay. That's what's up. Just keep it real cool. And it'll keep people from saying oh, you always have something to say. If you don't have nothing to say, then they can't say that about you no more. Be like, okay, you're right. Okay, I see you. Dang, I'm telling you, that dang and that wow is golden. Okay. Sometimes our opinion isn't warranted. Sometimes they want our opinion. A lot of times our friends are just coming to share or to vent. They're not coming for advice or counsel. Sometimes they are, sometimes they're not. But a lot of times the reason why we can't get along is because we feel like in that moment, it's our time to tell them what to do, when a lot of times it's not. Anyway, that's all I have for you all today. I hope you all enjoyed it. Thank you all so much. Of course, always. I was about to say thanks you. Thank you all so much for tuning in to the SOULKATION podcast. Thank you for sharing it. Make sure you like the episode on all the podcast apps, as well as leaving a comment. If you're watching this on YouTube on SOULKATION TV, what's up, YouTube? Make sure you like and subscribe to the SOULKATION channel, and I will see you all very soon. Have a good one.